Gardening is such a beautiful experience for me, and like you can rightly observe from the last video I made about the garden, when I put up this fence for my dogs, and now there's a lot of progress, there's a lot of changes that has happened within that small space. You know, there's a lot of leaves, there's a lot of growth that has happened, there are new plants, you know, there are lots of observable growth, and this is quite exciting to observe and to watch and to make happen. So as a gardener, these are some of the things that inspires me. These are some of the things that make me continue to ensure that wherever I find myself, you know, wherever I've lived, I've always kept a garden. And I also come to know that this is kind of like therapeutic, so it has a lot of benefits, and I'm encouraging you, if you don't have any garden, and if maybe you don't have space, but you can keep a pot of plants, whether it's flower, whether it's a plant, spring onion, all these herbs for the kitchen, whatever small space you can have, a container, keep a plant. You know, it draws us closer to nature. We don't have the luxury of having parks around for most of the areas in Nigeria, but you can ensure that you are not disconnected from nature as much as possible by keeping plants. They are the closest that you can have to observing nature. Also with animals, pets, some people keep pets for this reason, but I find gardening of different plant types very, very interesting and exciting. So I always keep a garden everywhere I have lived as much as possible. So you can see the growth that have taken place within the past 7 weeks. I have seen observable growth in the different plants that are there. And for the ugu, I've cut from the ugu, I've used it to make soup. It's beneficial, and so the plant gives us their own energy, and we use it to sustain ourselves, to sustain our body. So there's a lot of connection between us and the plants. Actually, we're all a part of one big whole. The human beings are the ones sitting at the top of the chain. When we observe the growth for the yam, the yam's lifespan is just about 7-8 months, less than a year. But humans will live many years, and it's very interesting because they, as long as they serve their purpose, that is the essence of each life, whether it be plant life, whether it be human life. The purpose is to serve your purpose. The purpose of the plant is to give food to other beings like us humans or other animals, and they serve their purpose and they are done. And one other thing that I observed with the plants is that the ugu plants, I planted the 3 ugu plants the same day, but you can see from the picture that 2 of them are still looking a lot smaller than the very first one, which has already climbed up on the rope and is even climbing down. But I planted the 3 of them the same day. But that shows us that each one of them have their own journey, and they're not comparing themselves. They are going on their own separate path. They are in different environment. Well, I don't know if the soil is more richer in the first one than in the other 2, but the important thing is that they're teaching certain value here, which is saying just be you. They're saying it's okay to just be you. Just go at your own pace. Just be you. Just go at your own pace. So the ugu plants are going at their own pace. They are not. There's no competition or amongst the plants. They are going at their own pace. I water them equally. They have access to sunlight equally, and I also put manure or compost around them equally. But the one has really gone ahead. But it's the other 2 are not complaining. I've not heard any kind of complaint from the other 2, but they're doing just fine. And I know it's a lesson that I'm learning. The inspiration that you draw from this plant is, the lesson is that we are all on different journeys, which we should try to ensure that we live out our life's purpose truly, and not try to compare ourselves to other people, regardless of whether they are family, regardless of whether they are friends or neighbor or colleague in the office. We should just learn to be ourselves. If we can embrace all of who we are without looking to others, yes, we can learn a few things from other people, but many of the problems humans face is because we are looking to the other people because we're envious or jealous of what they have or what they are doing, and we are not able to appreciate enough what we have and what we are doing. That's where a lot of discontent comes and a lot of negativity stems from. So if only we can learn from the plants, so, which is one of the reasons why I keep plants. I draw a lot of inspiration. I draw encouragement from the plants because they're not, they're just doing just fine. Even though at the end of their life cycle they are going to provide energy for me as food, they do not complain. They are serving their purpose, though they're going to be serving as food for me, which is a plus, which is a positive thing. That is not the main goal why I keep the garden. The main reason why I keep the garden is for the process, the journey, observing the journey from a seed, like the tomato seed, and and then it grows into a big plant that starts to fruit and bring forth lovely juicy tomatoes. That process, and also my own contribution in ensuring that they are watered when there is no rain. Sometimes it's not raining for 3-4 days. That journey of going from seed to maturity and to fruiting, it's very exciting to experience. Very exciting for me, and there is a lot of learning, there is a lot of comfort, there's a lot of connection when I observe this. I've never heard that any of the plants say, why are you taller than me, or why are you bigger than me? I know plants may communicate, but I think the kind of communication that they would have would be something like, hello my neighbor, how are you today? And the other one would say, I'm very well, thank you. Don't you think the sun is brighter today than yesterday? And the other one would say, oh yes, it was a lot cloudier yesterday. And they have a jolly good laugh about that, and maybe that's all. There's no negativity in their communication, there's no negativity in their expression. They're just expressing love to one another and just being their total self. There's no room for comparison for them. They're just totally themselves, and it's quite interesting to watch. It's quite interesting to observe, and these are some of the things I'm hoping my children can pick up on when I show them these things, the lessons, the virtues that are conveyed by these plants, and also the growth. Within the space of 7 weeks, I have a garden that is luxurious, looking quite beautiful. In another few weeks, it will even be a lot bigger than that, because some of those other plants that are yet to come up will have really grown much. It's interesting to watch the physical growth of these plants, because it shows to me how also we as humans, how we start our journey and grow physically into the adults that we become, but unlike the plants, the humans' dimensions of mind and spirit comes in with the physical. So apart from growing physically, where people see us, we grow and we are taught to a certain height, there's also the growth that is taking place within the mind and within the spirit. Unfortunately for most humans, the growth in the mental and the spiritual areas of their life do not catch up with their growth in the physical. So you see quite a number of adults that are grown but who are not as grown within their mental space and within their spiritual space, because there have been some blockages in the path of the growth. And like I explained, the reason why I put up this boundary, physical boundary for my garden, was because the dogs were attacking the plants. Not necessarily attacking the plant, they were attacking the lizards, and then they attacked the plants inadvertently, and then that stunted the growth of the plant. So regardless of whether there is growth in the mental or spiritual space, the physical growth will happen. But sometimes there is a blockage along the line of growth of the mind and of the spirit, and you see a lot of negativity coming out from such individual because they have not been able to understand that there is a problem, and then the problem needs to be resolved. There is a wound, and the wound needs to be tended. It will not heal without it being tended. So yes, my garden and my yam in bags. I hope I encourage you with this video to also keep a garden. Subsequently, I'll be showing you progress within the garden as well as my other talks. And like I always address myself, I'm a gardener. I garden. I till the earth. I till the soil. And I also till hearts. I break loose the clumps of hearts that are stuffed with wounds, that are stuffed with traumas. I help to break them loose using the tips and the tools that I've acquired over the years to help healing happen and to allow the wounds to get healed so that the growth can happen again. I do hope that you find this video helpful. You can check out my video about how to plant yam in bags in the playlist gardening, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you for watching.